What's poppin', Ravens? I'm Annabelle Glasscock alongside Ava Clayton, and welcome to 2021's first edition of ONW Now.
Today we will be giving you an inside look at Spotify Wrapped, the ongoing climate change debate, and a recap of 2020, and as always, game day.
We've got an amazing show lined up for you today, so let's get right into it.
Spotify recently released their annual Spotify Wrapped. Let's take it to Cole Bartley for a deeper look into this new feature.
We are rapidly approaching the end of the year, and for many it is time to reflect on the past year. Well, Spotify has helped us out by releasing Spotify Wrapped. If you somehow have no idea what Spotify Wrapped is, let me tell you. Spotify Wrapped is a feature Spotify released that gives you information on what you listen to throughout 2020. It gives you information on such things like genres you listen to, what artists you listen to, and how many hours you listen to music in general. Now that I summarized what Spotify Wrapped is, I wanted to go further into the topic. So today, I asked 3 ONW students, all with different music tastes, what was in their Spotify Wrapped and if they liked it.
Top 5 artists were Lil Uzi, Juice, Luke Combs, Daniel Caesar, and Drake.
So my 2020 top 5 was Matt Mason was number 1, then the Lumineers, Tyler the Creator, Brockhampton, and then C418, which is, he's the creator of the Minecraft soundtrack. And that's on there because it's what I fall asleep to at night.
Artists are Lil Uzi Vert, Drake, Juice WRLD, Post Malone, and Future.
My top 5 genres were folk, modern rock, pop, lo-fi beats, and worship music. Pretty all over the place.
Rap was pretty much all I listened to, but there was a little bit of pop and country.
There were multiple genres. There were rap, country, alternative. I don't really know what you classify Daniel Caesar as, but there were a lot of genres.
Spotify has been getting praised for releasing Spotify Wrapped, and students at ONW are no different.
I think it's a pretty cool idea by Spotify because you kind of get an outline of your whole year and what you listen to.
I do like the idea of Spotify Wrapped because you kind of get a recap and get to see what you listened to over the year. And it's kind of crazy to think about what you listened back in January, but you kind of forget.
Yeah, I love Spotify Wrapped. I think it's really cool. It's just it's a great way to get an insight on what you listen to, because you listen to it all the time, but sometimes you don't really know or understand how much your music taste can change. And it's also cool to the top 100, because you can go back through and listen to that and hear songs that you used to listen to in January and February that you totally forgot about, but you streamed all the time. So I think it's really cool. And I think other apps, I don't know how they would imply, but maybe Instagram or Snapchat, if social medias could do some sort of year wrap, or even YouTube or Netflix. I think that would be really cool with something like that.
This has been Cole Bartley. Now back to the desk.
Since the 1960s, deforestation has been a huge issue surrounding the Amazon rainforest. Since 2019, there have been over 5,000 square miles burned, leaving lots of damage and worldwide debate on the importance of climate change. Let's send it to Andrew Beckwith and Dylan Growney for more on the story.
2020 has had its fair share of problems, but the biggest issue for the present and near future, climate change and global warming, is not just going to fizzle out. The increasing rate of greenhouse gases from humans and shifts in weather patterns can be traced back to the mass deforestation of the Amazon rainforest in 2019, one of Earth's most necessary natural resources and habitats.
The Amazon rainforest and other rainforests support more different species of plants and animals than anywhere else on Earth. We're losing a lot of resources. We can get a lot from the rainforest. If we use the rainforest sustainably, there's a lot of resources there.
And without essential areas like the rainforest in the world, the Earth's climate could be in a near irreversible state of disaster going forward.
We want trees, they're good because they take in CO2, especially the excess CO2 that we are putting into the atmosphere. And so when those trees are gone, then that CO2 doesn't really have anywhere to go. It'll just stay in the atmosphere, or it can be absorbed into the ocean.
Multiple fires in the Amazon rainforest in Brazil, Australia, and California are environmentalists believe to be the result of climate change and deforestation affecting those in the area and the natural environment.
They release a lot of particulates into the air when they're burning, And so that definitely causes a lot of respiratory issues for the people. In California, there are times where they're telling people not to leave their homes.
And other natural disasters have been happening at a higher rate and have caused more destructive results in the process. That and the increasing temperature in multiple areas around the world and the melting glaciers at the poles have caused many in the scientific community to question how much time is left before the results are set in stone.
Some people say definitely within 50 years, some will say within 100 or more years, and that we're fine. So at some point, if you remove too many of those trees, then you're going to have less water going into the atmosphere, and you're going to be changing the climate of that whole region.
And right now, the effects scientists feared could be on the horizon.
Small towns in Alaska and such that were already very low, where they are having to move further inland because they're already seeing the sea levels rising there.
With the negative consequences of the Amazon deforestation and the use of fossil fuels being condemned around the modern world, the push for going carbon neutral will be a difficult yet necessary task. Although the U.S. is one of the top producers of CO2 emissions, President-elect Joe Biden has pushed climate change in many of his messages with the promise to rejoin the Paris Climate Agreement on top of Europe's many pledges, organizations, and unions to combat the issue.
People don't like change. So if we could do it in a way where it's in steps and stages, I think it'll be less scary than just being like, we got to drop fossil fuels, we have to go renewable.
The message is now clear after the Amazon deforestation. Go green to save the environment. For ONW Now, this has been Andrew Beckwith and Dylan Growney.
As we are aware, 2020 was a year for the record books, just maybe not the books we wanted. Here's a quick recap on some major events from this outrageous year, showing all that we've overcome.
Last month, Raven Athletics kicked off their winter sports season. Let's toss it over to Game Day for the latest.
What's up, Ravens? Welcome back to Game Day Northwest. I'm Josh Burton.
And I'm Christian Kowitz. Today we're going to cover all of our school sports, and then at the end we'll top it off with some sports stories from across the globe. So let's get right into it.
Wednesday night, it was the Battle of the Northwest as the Lady Ravens faced off against the Shawnee Mission Northwest Cougars. The Ravens were looking to build off of their big win against Lawrence High on Tuesday night, and they got off to a strong start in this one. The young Ravens team came out fighting against the veteran Cougars and led 14-9 after the first quarter. They continued to battle hard and went into half with a 20-19 lead, but in the second half, the Ravens unfortunately couldn't find the same rhythm as they had in the first half and fell short, losing 49-32. The ladies now fall to 3-5 on the season and are ready to take on the Free State Firebirds tonight at 7. Good luck, Ravens.
On Tuesday night, the men's basketball team faced off against a very skilled Lawrence High team. Lawrence High is one of the best teams in the Sunflower League, but the boys got off to a fast start, taking a 9-2 lead in the first quarter. But after the strong start, the Lawrence High Lions fought back and put together a 21-1 run, taking a 23-10 lead going into the half. Even though the Lions had all the momentum, the Ravens did not let the game get away from them. The men came out strong in the second half and cut the Lions' lead down to 8. The men got a rhythm going on offense and were scoring easy in the second half. But the Lions also had a groove going and managed to hold on to their lead. After an extremely questionable call on a technical foul against the Ravens, the game was unfortunately out of reach for the boys, losing 63-47. The leading scorers for the Ravens were Ethan Raines with 18 and my boy Zay Dejani with 17. The Ravens will be looking to bounce back in their next game against Lawrence Free State tonight. Good luck, boys.
Our boys swim and dive team was in action on Thursday for their meet at Prairie Trail Middle School. The Ravens finished first overall over Olathe West, Shawnee Mission West, and Bishop Miege. ONW won 9 out of the 12 events. Great work, boys.
Moving on to the bowling lanes, our bowling team had their first meet on Tuesday, and they started off their season with a bang. Cam Carlstead finished second individually with the 600 series and helped lead the boys varsity team to a first place finish. The varsity girls also started their season strongly with the second place team finish. Great job, everyone.
For some sports news outside the nest, the newest MLB Hall of Fame ballot is being released on January 26th, and many baseball fans are hoping to see a few particular names on the list. Christian has more on the story.
In the game of baseball, people know household names like Mike Trout, Babe Ruth, Ken Griffey Jr., and Barry Bonds. On August 7, 2007, Barry Bonds hit his 756th career home run, forever sealing his legacy in the MLB.
I gotta thank all of you, all the fans here in San Francisco.
With a man who launched 71 bombs in one season, and he has 2,935 career hits, 1,996 career RBIs. He is a 7-time National League MVP and a 14-time MLB All-Star. Why isn't this dude in the Hall of Fame?
I guess we'll never know.
Similar to the Pete Rose story, major scandals can keep you out of a seat in the MLB Hall of Fame. The only difference is Barry Bonds didn't bet on his own team.
Coming to the plate, throws the throw. He's in. It's all over.
In an era between 1990 and 2010, steroids became a very popular option in MLB clubhouses. There has been no real start and end to this era, but some of the biggest names in baseball have been either accused or admitted to using juice. This list includes Gary Sheffield, Jose Canseco, Alex Rodriguez, Mark McGuire, Roger Clemens, Manny Ramirez, Big Sexy Bartolo Colon, Barry Bonds, and many other names. Bonds has never admitted to actually using roids, but people scratch their heads when they see his transformation. Fans of Major League Baseball want to see Bonds of all people make it into the Hall of Fame. In interviews with ESPN, he said as if he was cursed from ever actually getting voted in. Now, according to the new MLB rule made in 2014, players only have 10 years on the Hall of Fame ballot. After that, their opportunity has passed. Since Bonds was put on the ballot in 2012, he only has until 2022 to forever leave his fingerprint on Major League Baseball. For all that Bonds has accomplished as a Pittsburgh Pirate and a San Francisco Giant, people hope that these players from this era will start actually getting into the Hall of Fame. For ONW Now, this has been Christian Kotwitz. Now back to the desk.
Historically, America has been spoiled with the success of almost all of our sports teams. However, this doesn't really apply to men's soccer. Let's throw it over to Josh for more on why America has continuously underperformed in the world of soccer.
America, the land of the free, home of the brave, and the nation of absolutely terrible soccer. Generally, the U.S. sees a lot of success in almost everything they compete in. So why have they consistently underperformed on the world stage of soccer? Remember that loss against Trinidad and Tobago in 2017?
We can't beat Trinidad on a field that's too wet and too heavy? What are we doing? What are we doing?
It was a historic embarrassment for the team. Trinidad is home to only 1.5 million people. America has 9 cities that have a greater population, and yet this tiny island nation still prevented us from qualifying for the World Cup. I mean, on paper, U.S. soccer is set up to be one of the greatest teams in the world, America is the third most populated country and is home to some of the greatest infrastructure and facilities across the globe. Just look at the U.S. women's soccer team. They have won 4 World Cups and 4 Olympic gold medals. So why is there such a drastic difference? Honestly, there are a lot of reasons, but I'll try to highlight a few. Kicking off, arguably the biggest reason for our country's mediocrity in soccer simply comes down to the culture of American sports. Even the most devoted soccer fans in America will admit that soccer is at best the 4th most popular sport in the country. Growing up, kids dream of scoring a touchdown in the Super Bowl or hitting a home run in the World Series, but you don't hear about too many who dream about scoring a goal in the World Cup final. And when most of our athletes are choosing to play football or baseball over soccer, the talent pool becomes immensely watered down. This lack of popularity has other major consequences too, namely money. Soccer just doesn't have nearly as much financial support as other sports do. The average yearly salary in the MLS is only about $410,000. When you compare this to the MLB's average of $4.4 million and the NBA's average of $7 million, it's easy to understand why athletes would choose these alternate routes. But this alone can't explain the lack of talent we see on our national team. While the US may never see freak athletes like Tyreek Hill step on the field for them, there should still be thousands of players to choose from. So where are these players? The truth is, because of the many flaws of our current academy system, many of them aren't even getting a chance to showcase their skills. Pay to play is the concept that dominates US soccer and in many ways is the detriment to our success. In Europe, professional soccer teams use their own profits to fund their youth teams, but this isn't the case in America. Professional clubs devote virtually zero funds to their youth programs, which means that the burden of paying for these teams is left with the parents and players. Unfortunately, this means that in order for players to receive top-tier training, they have to pay thousands of dollars per year, which simply isn't possible for many Americans. Ever heard of Neymar or Cristiano Ronaldo? These are 2 of the world's greatest soccer players, and they grew up in poverty. This means that if they grew up in the US, there's a great chance they would have never even gotten the opportunity to show their skills on the world stage. So with these factors, is the future of US men's soccer truly hopeless? Absolutely not. And actually, it's quite the opposite. Ever since we hosted the 1994 World Cup, the popularity of soccer has actually been on a steady climb, and the generation of players born between 1994 and 2002 are quickly becoming the greatest we've ever seen. The most recent starting 11 for the national team had an average age of only 24 years old. Not only that, 34 players have also been given their debut for the team ever since current manager Greg Berhalter took over. This is the exact influx of youth the team has needed for years, and they are certainly taking advantage of their opportunities. Another important development in recent years has been the emergence of more Americans playing in European leagues. So far this year, a record 9 Americans have played in the Champions League for their club, and it's not like they're playing for some random team in Serbia either. They're playing for some of the world's best teams, like Barcelona, Chelsea, Bayern Munich, and Juventus. So, although US soccer has been on a rocky road for so long, Americans can rest assured that there are brighter days to come. For ONW Now, this has been Josh Burton.
Well, that brings us to the end of game day. For more recaps and updates on all of our Raven athletics, make sure to check out our website at theravendaily.com. This has been Josh Burton and Christian Kotwitz.
This past weekend, ONW participated in All-Star Weekend debate with teams in all classifications, Kansas Debate Classic, and the Novice State Championship. All of our novice teams finished 3-3 and are going on to compete in a 2-speaker state championship.
At KDC, Ellie Wilson and Kaylin Wellman finished prelims with a 5-1 record, losing a close quarterfinal debate to Lawrence High to finish the tournament in the top 8. Grant McKeever and Verena Legler finished 3-3 and will team up with Ellie and Kaylin in the 4-speaker state championships.
We wish all of our debate teams the best of luck at their state championships today.
That's all we've got for you today, Ravens. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram and Twitter at ONW Raven Daily.
For Annabelle Glasscock and the rest of the Convergence team, this has been Ava Clayton. Thanks for watching. Have a great weekend, Ravens.